Ano nga ba yung mga RPMS tools na gagamitin natin for school year 2020-2021? Sir Kaloy, ibigay mo na.
Ayun, thank you for that question, Sir Lester. No? Actually, before I'm going to answer that, nagpapasalamat ako kasi ang ganda ng explanation natin, discussion natin sa PMCF. Kasi totoo nga naman talaga, si PMCF ay siya yung tool or part ng RPMS na di gaanong nadadaanan, di gaanong napapractice sa field. So this time naman, at least meron tayong emphasis na we need to use the PMCF. Kasi nga, gusto nating sundan kung saan yung progress ni teacher, paano natin matutulungan si teacher. Kasi yun naman talaga yung gusto natin sa DepEd eh. Tayong lahat ay sabay-sabay na matututo at mag-a-achieve dito sa school year 2020-2021. Now, going back to the question of Sir Lester, kung ano-ano yung mga indicators, meron tayo this school year. Ayun po, this school year po, na doon pa din tayo. Meron tayong dalawang tools, RPMS tools for teachers doon sa performance assessment nila. So we have tools, RPMS tool for teachers 1, 2, and 3, and they are the teachers who will be using proficient tools. And also, for master teachers who will be using a highly proficient tool. So meron po tayong dalawa. Make sure lang po that in the use of this instrument, we need to take down notes na meron diyang nakalagay na this RPMS tool is specific for the time of COVID-19, specifically for school year 2020-2021. So take note po, meron po tayong meron po tayong mga disclaimer na baka ma-confuse tayo sa mga tools. Ito pong tool na ito ay specific for COVID-19, school year 2020-2021. Di ba po, Sir Angelo? Pakita po natin. Ayan po yung notes doon. Ayan. So nakita po talaga natin. And we're going to look into the details of these RPMS tools. Titingnan natin sa loob, ano po ba yung mga objectives ng ating RPMS tool? Ang mga objectives po ay babasahin ko isa-isa. First po, though I have presented this yesterday, so I have to read it. So I'm going to read the first 4 ng proficient at saka highly proficient. Applied knowledge of content within and across teaching area. Ensure the positive use of ICT to facilitate teaching and learning process. Apply the range of teaching strategies to develop critical and creative thinking as well as higher order thinking skills. And establish learning-centered culture by using teaching strategies that would respond to the linguistic, cultural, socio-economic, and religious backgrounds of our learners. Sa mga highly proficient naman or sa master teachers 1 to 4, ang kanilang mga objectives ay modeled, effective participative application of content knowledge within and across curriculum teaching areas, promoted effective strategies in the positive use of ICT to facilitate teaching and learning process. Ang pangatlo naman po, developed and applied effective teaching strategies to promote a critical and creative thinking as well as higher order thinking skills. At ang pang-apat, exhibited the learning-centered culture that promotes success by using effective teaching strategies that respond to linguistic, cultural, socio-economic, and religious background. I want you to notice po na itong dalawa dito sa first 4 na indicators po, meron po tayong dalawa dyan. Yan pong dalawa, ayan po, remind natin ha, take note lang po, ang applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum area and applied a range of teaching strategy, actually, hindi siya bago. Di ba po? Hindi siya bago, no? Parang familiar siya. Parang nagamit na natin siya last school year. Tama po, nagamit po natin ito last school year. Now, let's proceed to the next set of indicators. So, meron din tayong pang-5 indicator po, which is planned and developed pang-5 objective pala, planned and delivered teaching strategies that are responsive to the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances, lalo na po ngayon, including geographic isolation, chronic illnesses, yun, pang COVID-19 talaga, displacement due to armed conflict, urban resettlement and disaster, child abuse and child labor practices. Pang-6, use strategies in providing timely and accurate feedback in accurate and constructive feedback to improve learner performance. And also number 7 po, for the teachers who are using proficient tools, selected, developed, organized, and use appropriate teaching and learning resources, including ICT, in addressing learning goals. For the highly proficient naman, na mga teachers na gumagamit ng highly proficient tools, ang kanilang objectives naman, 5th objective, evaluated their colleagues' teaching strategies that are responsive to the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances, including geographic isolation, chronic illnesses, displacement due to armed conflict, urban resettlement and disaster, child abuse, and child labor practices. Pang-anim po na objective, use effective strategies for providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to encourage learners to reflect on and improve their own learning. Pang-7 po or pang-7, advised and guided colleagues in the selection and organization of development and use of appropriate teaching and learning resources including ICT in addressing specific learning goals. So as you can see po dito sa set ng objectives natin, meron tayong dalawa dyan na parang, uy, kaya ba natin itong gawin? So this objective is specifically selected for this school year as learners across the world po, sa buong mundo po, have been affected by COVID-19. The way teachers adjust and modify teaching and learning delivery is captured in this year's RPMS. So yun po yung nating gustong ipaabot, na talagang ang gusto ng RPMS ngayon ay talagang ma-measure, talagang mag-gauge si teacher doon sa kanyang mga ginagawa specific for this school year. Now let's proceed to the next set of objectives for those teachers who are using proficient and highly proficient tools. Number 8 objective, set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with the learning competencies. Oh, di ba po? Wala naman sigurong gagawa ng learning objective na hindi align sa competencies, ano? Number 9, build relationship with parents, guardians, and wider school community to facilitate involvement in the educative process. Number 10, participated in professional networks to share knowledge and enhance practice. Number 11, developed a personal improvement plan based on the reflection of one's practice and ongoing professional development. Yun po sa proficient na mga tools for the teachers 1, 2, and 3. For those teachers who are using highly proficient tools, meaning master teachers 1 to 4 po, ito naman yung last set ng objectives natin. Modeled to colleagues the setting of achievable and challenging learning outcomes that are aligned with the learning competencies to cultivate the culture of excellence for all learners. Number 9, guided colleagues to strengthen relationship with parents, guardian, and wider school community to maximize their involvement in the educative process. Number 10, contributed actively to professional network within and between schools to improve knowledge and to enhance practice. And number 11, initiated professional reflections and promote learning opportunities with colleagues to improve practice. Ayun, hiningal ako. Ang dami palang objective. Di ba po? Sir Lester, based on sa presentation natin or teacher ads, baka meron kayong mga nakita or observation. Ano po? Or Sir Angelo?
Alam mo, Sir Kaloy, kung Phil-Iri lang to, independent ka na.
Best in reading, di ba po?
Umpisa pa lang independent ka na agad. Pero Sir Kaloy, ang ganda nung alignment nung mga objectives for the proficient and the highly proficient ngayong school year na ito. Kitang-kita naman, nagbabago lang sa apply yung sa isa, tapos sa kabila modeled. So parang parang yung katulad ng binanggit ni Sir Lester kahapon.
Complementary silang dalawa.
Yes, parang binanggit ni Sir Lester kahapon na talagang matututukan din nila yung kanilang mentee this year kasi nga parehas lang ng ginagawa. Mas mataas lang ng level yung sa highly proficient teachers because they are mentors. So ngayon, dahil independent ka na nga at nabasa mo na lahat ng mga objectives natin, tatanong ko naman kung ano naman yung mga main MOV at supporting MOV natin for this school year. Kasi excited na rin ang mga teachers malaman yan.
Ayun. So salamat Teacher Az. Talagang yung tanong talaga ni Teacher Az gives me the idea na talagang sinusunod. Alam na alam ni Teacher Az. Kabisado niya talaga si IPCRF kasi alam na alam niya yung mga main MOV, mga supporting MOV. Yun po yung i-discuss natin. Kasunod na i-discuss natin. Yes po. For this school year naman po, meron tayong dalawang types. 2 types of means of verification or MOVs. Nandito pa rin yung main MOV, meaning this refers to the non-negotiable MOV needed to demonstrate the the attainment of objectives. So yun po yung hindi natin maninegotiate, hindi natin pwedeng walain kasi nandyan talaga siya dapat. And also, the supporting MOV. The supporting MOV naman refers to the list of MOV ratees can choose from in the list of supporting MOV. So support our main MOV. This is to attain the objective. So we just have to remember that for school year 2020-2021, only objective 11 for both RPMS tools has main MOV and supporting MOV. Ayan. So I want to show to you ngayon, Sir Lester, Teacher Ads, at sa lahat ng kasama nating guro sa buong Pilipinas, yung laid out. 'Di ba meron tayong 37 indicators po? So ngayon, saan ba sila sa 37 indicators ngayon? So ito po, isa-show ko sa inyo. So meron tayong kinuha from domain 1, yung naka-highlight po, sila po yung mga priority indicators ng ating RPMS PPST. And out of that 11 indicators po, 7 po yung classroom observable indicators. Yan po, ilalight natin ng green. Ayan, thank you Sir Angelo, no? May pag-green na. And also, out from that 7 observable indicators, palight nga ng red, yan naman yung tatlo na merong classroom observation tool. Oy, ngayon you might be asking, merong classroom observation? Ano yung mga objective na yun, sir, na merong classroom observation? You might be asking that. Yes. Naisip na po natin yan. Kaya po ipapakita natin sa inyo. Ito po yung mga objectives. Okay, the first objective po is applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching area. So nakita nyo po dyan, yung sa unahan na MOV, meron po tayong sinasabing, ayan, the use of COT or Classroom Observation Tool. At tapos meron kayo nakita dyan na mga options. So don't worry, yung options po na yan, i-discuss po natin, iisa-isahin po natin yung mga options na yan sa ating kung paano ba i-observe si teacher in this time of pandemic, specifically for school year 2020-2021. Ayan. And also, part of this, para hindi naman mahirapan si rater ng pagre-rate, meron po tayong ipro-provide na rubric kung paano natin i-rate, kung 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 pa din. Ito po ay nasa observation tool natin or classroom observation tool natin. Ang pangalawang objective po na nangangailangan ng COT ay ang objective number 5, which is planned and delivered teaching strategies. Yan po, yung nasa objective number 5 or objective number 5 po. Same din po, kailangan din po siya ng COT. And para hindi mahirapan si rater, meron din tayong ipoprovide na rubric para alam natin kung 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 yung rating natin sa kanya. At makikita natin yan ulit sa classroom observation tool. Ang pangatlong objective naman na nangangailangan ng COT ay ang objective number 7. Ayan siya. So yun din po, kailangan natin ng COT at meron tayong option dyan. As I've said, i-discuss natin isa-isa ang lahat ng mga options na yan. And also part of that is meron din tayong mga rubric. Meron tayong rubric for that para malaman natin kung 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 ba yung rating niya based doon sa kanyang pagpapakitang turo. Ayan. So we have to remember as well that in this RPMS po, meron tayong alternative classroom observation. This alternative classroom observation po for RPMS is considered only for school year 2020-2021 due to the absence of or to the limited capacity of face-to-face. Kasi alam naman natin, no, hindi sa buong Pilipinas, talaga, sa buong Pilipinas, diverse Iba-iba yung konteksto, iba-iba yung quarantine community quarantine natin na level. So kaya po tayo po sa Department of Education is advocating na sana walang face-to-face. Kung merong face-to-face still, we need to follow the IETF protocols kasi gusto natin lahat ng mga kasama nating guro sa buong Pilipinas safe at saka kicking sila pagpasok ng pag nasa new normal na tayo para ma-welcome natin ulit yung mga kasamahan natin or yung mga bata, estudyante natin sa field. So this time, iso-show na po natin, ipapakita na po natin yung tatlong options ng observation. Ayan. So meron sinabi ko nga kanina, meron tayong tatlong options ng observation. First one is the online observation. Ano tong online observation, sir? Ano to, sir? This applies to teachers who will adopt online synchronous learning, di ba? Meron tayong synchronous learning no na online, no? So pag online ka na teacher, nag-online synchronous learning ka, regardless of the number of classes and learners, you are going to have an online observation kasi online teacher ka. Sir, ang tanong naman ng guro ngayon, Sir, hindi ako online teacher, sir. Pero meron naman akong video, sir, na nire-release para sa aking mga bata for those learners na walang internet. So meron akong asynchronous, sir. So paano ako i-observe? So ito, nandito ka sa option number 2. So if ever that option number 1 is not possible, then you'll go to option number 2. Meaning, this is observation via video lesson. This applies to teachers who will adopt online asynchronous learning in any of their classes and learners. So yun po yung mga options na gagawin natin. Basta, we just have to remember that a video lesson must have been used in lesson delivery as part of the supplementary materials or as one of the learning materials for online asynchronous learning. It is not the same as the TV lesson for TV-based instruction. Hindi po sila magkapareho. Itong option 2 lang po natin ay pwede natin gamitin if we are doing a video lesson for asynchronous learning modality. Pangalawa po na dapat nating i-remember, a video lesson must be SLM-based or MELC-aligned. A teacher can use any recording device to record herself or himself while teaching the lesson. Ang pangatlong reminder po is the video lesson can be stored in cloud. O ayun, di ba? Kung teke-teke ka masyado, you can store that in cloud or in any storage device or upload it online in the online class or in the learning management system. So yun po yung mga paalala natin. Sir, sabi mo merong 3 option. Ba't 2 lang yung na-present mo? Oy, lo and behold, nandito na tayo sa pangatlong option. Ano naman yung pangatlong option, Sir Kaloy? Ito yung observation of a demonstration via learning action cell. Oh, na-amaze kayo, di ba? Kasi ginamit na natin sa learning action cell ngayon. Kasi as we observe, this time marami pong ginangyayaring learning action cell. So dapat lang po nating tandaan that this option is only possible if si option 1 at option 2 ay hindi pwede sa ating learning delivery modality na pinili. Kasi this only applies to teachers who adopt pure modular learning via print or digital format, radio-based instruction, and TV-based instruction. So alalahanin po natin, si option 3 lang po ay possible if ever si options 1 and 2 is not possible in our modality, in our classroom. Ayun. So RPMS, there should be 2 classroom observations. Yes, for the entire school year. Hence, ratees should submit 2 classroom observation tool rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form as MOV for objectives that require such. Meaning, yung objectives 1, 5, and 7. Kasi sila po yung nagre-require ng COT. And we need to also to remember this time frame. Meaning po, ina-advise po natin na lahat ng kasama nating guro sa field, please remember with this timeline po. For classroom observation number 1, we suggest that we're going to do that between the month of January to March 2021. And for our classroom observation number 2 naman, we're going to do that between the months of April and May 2021. Bakit tayo nagsasuggest ng mga timeline na ito? Kasi ayaw natin na mag-file up yung mga gagawin ni teacher. So if we're going to follow this kind of these timelines, mas lesser po yung gagawin natin bilang guro. At nakaplano po siya para hindi naman tayo mabigatan masyado sa ating panahon, especially this time of COVID po, na talagang nahihirapan tayong lahat. Ayun. So meron naman I know lahat ng viewers natin, meron tayong 116,000 viewers right now. At alam ko mix ito diverse ito ngayon Meron tayong viewers sa mga supervisor, mga PSDS, mga EPS. Ang tanong ngayon, ano yung role nila in this RPMS PPST? Yes po. The supervisors, example, the PSDS and the EPS may use the COT RPMS rubric in observing teachers. However, their feedback may be used for in providing technical assistance lang to school heads and master teachers who are observing. However, your rating in that COT or in the rating sheet of COT po shall not form part in the RPMS rating of the teachers and portfolio. Uulitin ko. Si supervisor at EPS, pwede silang mag-observe. Pwede nilang gamitin ang COT RPMS. However, yung observation nila, yung rating nila is only good for technical assistance doon sa mga school head natin and master teacher. At yung rating nila should not form part with the RPMS rating of teachers and their portfolio. Ang tanong, sir, bakit ganun? Ba't hindi sila pwede? Kasi nga po, based to DepEd Order number 2, Series 2015, specifically in Annex A, page 18, only the master teacher, head teacher, and school heads can rate the teacher. Ayun, so klarong-klaro, no? Hindi po siya gawa-gawa. Meron po tayong basis dyan. So again, si supervisor and EPS, you can observe, you can help teacher. Tapos, yung rating natin is only for technical assistance and shall not form part in the rating of our teacher in the RPMS. Ayun, so parang mahaba-haba na yung nasabi ko. Baka may tanong tayo bago tayo mag-proceed. May tanong po ba tayong nakikita sa Facebook natin na live? Baka may comment dyan. So I would like to invite all our teachers, if ever you have question, you have queries, meron kayong gustong malaman or i-clarify, please comment it down below. Babasahin natin yan. Meron tayong team na titingin doon sa comment box and then i-respond natin yung mga tanong ninyo na align sa ating topic for this episode po. And also for our teachers, ang kasama nating guest ngayon, Teacher Ads, Sir Lester at Sir Angelo, baka meron kayong tanong along the way or ngayon, right now po, bago tayo mag-proceed. Kung wala naman po, diretso lang. Just give me a signal kung walang tanong.
Sir, so far,
Clear pa naman, no? Wala pa namang tanong, no? Ayun. So now
Actually,
let's... yes po.
Sir Kaloy, sorry.
Yes po.
Isingit ko na lang.
Yes,
Kasi
yes.
sabi nitong isang, may nag-send ng isa na, hindi ko na nakuha yung name. Pero
Okay.
sabi niya, hindi po kailangan na lahat ng nakasulat ay ipapasa. May required lang po. Tama po ba ito? Kasi yung iba yata po ay pa rin, nagpapasa pa rin sila ng lahat ng nakasulat sa ating mga MOV.
Sa MOV. Ang mga MOVs, listed MOVs po. Yes po, ipapakita na natin yan mamaya. Kung lahat ba ipapasa o hindi. Nandyan po yan. Meron po tayong presentation dyan. Pero based doon po sa practice natin, even sa previous years po natin, hindi naman po lahat ipapasa. Meron po tayong specific documents. Don't worry, later before we end this presentation, we will give you a summary kung ilang documents lang ang kailangan per objective. Meron po tayong summary on that.
Salamat,
Yes, Sir Lester. Teacher Az, baka meron pa pong ibang tanong.
Okay po. Okay naman.
Okay na? Okay, so we can
Salamat,
proceed.
sir.
Okay, thank you for that, Teacher Az. No, at least pahinga-hinga rin ulit. Okay, so before I proceed, ayun, may pa-shoutout dito. Sabi, magpapa-shoutout daw. Okay, from, ano ba to? Saan ba ito sila? Pa-shoutout muna para at least naman maka-break naman po ng ano. So shoutout ako doon sa mga kapatid natin from Oroquieta City, Sir Rookie, Sir Ricky, and Sir Rani. And also Ma'am Kisha na classmate ko noon nung college. Ayun, specific pala, self-catering. Ayun, proceed na tayo doon sa next natin na episode. Ayun, sa next part natin. So this time we are going to talk about the objective and also ano yung MOVs niya. If I am a proficient sir or I am a teacher using proficient tool or highly proficient tool, ano naman yung mga MOV na i-attach natin? Okay, so let me show you objective number 1. For proficient teacher, meaning ang objective po natin are applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum teaching area. So ano yung objective, ano yung mga MOV na isasubmit, MOVs na isasubmit natin? Ang COT lang po. Meaning ang classroom observation tool natin. Tapos yung rating sheet or inter-rater agreement form na pwedeng magpumili tayo sa mga option. Option 1, option 2, and option 3. Again po, ang options natin ay depende po sa modality na pinili natin sa classroom. Meaning, if option 1 is not available, then go to option 2. If options 1 and 2 is not possible, then you can pick option 3. So ayun po. For highly proficient naman, which is to model effective application of content knowledge within and across teaching areas, ito naman po yung MOV natin. So yun din po, COT, but with proof of attendance of colleagues during the observation. So it could be from the different options. Option 1, if not possible, then go to option 2. If options 1 and 2 is not possible, then go to option 3. So again po, lagi lang nating tatandaan, if you're a teacher using highly proficient tool, you need to have a COT with proof of attendance of colleagues. Para naman po, mapakita natin sa kanila yung practice natin being master teacher. At least for them, maa-adapt nila, ganun pala dapat magturo ang isang guro. Ayan, let's go naman doon sa second objective na nangangailangan, nabulol ako doon, na nangangailangan ng COT. Another objective, which is specifically objective number 5. As you can see po, in our presentation this time, pinagsama natin yung objective na nangangailangan ng COT, ha? So the second objective na nangangailangan ng COT is objective number 5. For proficient, it says, planned and delivered teaching strategies that are responsive to the specific educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances, including geographic isolation, chronic illnesses, displacement due to armed conflict, urban resettlement and disaster, child abuse, and child labor practices. Ano po yung MOV natin? Ganun din po, COT din po. At para sa teachers following highly proficient tool naman, yun po din yung kailangan natin, COT with proof of attendance of our colleagues. So nandun pa rin tayo sa tatlong option. Ang next objective naman natin, nangangailangan ng COT ay ang objective number 7. Itong objective number 7 for profession teacher po, or for teachers, using proficient tools, ang sabi po ang objective po ninyo ay selected, developed, organized, and use appropriate teaching and learning resources including ICT to address learning goals. As you can see, itong objective po na ito ay hindi bago. Nagamit na po natin ito last year. Kaya parang kabisado na si teacher dito. What we're just thinking po is paano natin ito i-blend sa new normal. So ayan, for highly proficient, same din po. Advise and guided colleagues in the selection, organization, development, and use of appropriate teaching and learning resources, including ICT, to address specific learning goals. So nakita po natin na same pa din, COT din yung kailangan natin. We have options 1, options 2, options 1, 2, and 3. So mamimili lang po tayo kung anong option ang applicable sa atin bilang guro. Kasi alam natin magkakaiba po yung context ng ating division. So ayan. So dito naman magpo-proceed tayo doon sa mga classroom observable indicators na hindi nangangailangan ng COT. Kasi di ba po sabi kanina, meron tayong 7 out of 11 priority indicators, meron tayong 7 indicators, meaning 7 objectives na classroom observable. Pero hindi nangangailangan yung out of that 7 po, 4 po sa kanila ay hindi nangangailangan ng COT. Ano po yung kailangan, sir, kung hindi COT? Ito po. So ang objective is ensure the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching learning process. For teachers using proficient tools, ito po yung MOV natin. Any supplementary materials may be in print or digital format made by RATI to use in the lesson delivery that highlights the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching learning process. So ano po ba yung mga materials na yun? Pwedeng activity sheet, which is meron tayo. One lesson from self-learning module, isang lesson. Tapos isa pa, it could be an option, our lesson plan. So baka may confusion, sir, hindi kami gumagamit ng lesson plan. We are using the weekly lesson plan. Don't worry po how you call it. Kung ano may yung counterpart ng lesson, may it be DLP, DLL, WHLP, WLP, WLL, or any exemplar that is related to lesson planning. Pwede po nating i-attach yan. Another one is video lesson, audio lesson, and any other learning materials na hindi namin nabanggit dito. You just need to add annotation na mag-e-explain or magsasabi doon sa rater natin na ginamit ko ito and it shows positive use of ICT. So yun po, kailangan lang po natin ng annotation. For highly proficient naman, for teachers using highly proficient tools, ang ating MOV po ay any of the supplementary materials may be digital or print format made by the RATI to use and used in the lesson delivery that highlights effective strategies in the positive use of ICT to facilitate teaching and learning process, and performance monitoring and coaching form to show proof of coaching and mentoring of colleagues. So nakita niyo po, no? Parang may emphasis na dito si PMCF. Kasi nga, yun yung target natin, that all master teachers will help other teachers in school para sama-sama tayong uunlad at magtatagumpay in specifically for school year 2020-2021. So ang tanong, sir, ano po ba yung mga supplementary materials na yan? Ito po siya. First, activity sheet. Pwede namang one lesson from self-learning module. Another, it could be a lesson plan, yung sabi ko kanina, or a video lesson or audio lesson or any other learning materials that you just have to connect, you just have to provide annotation to show na talagang itong material na ito ay ginamit ko to showcase my positive use of ICT. Another objective na classroom observable na hindi nangangailangan ng COT ay ang objective number 3. Itong objective number 3 naman, ang sabi dito, it's applied range of teaching strategies to develop critical and creative thinking as well as other higher order thinking skills. Ito naman po yung objective natin dito, number 3. For teachers using proficient tools, ano po ba yung mga supplementary? Ano po ba yung isasubmit natin na MOV? Same pa din po. Any supplementary materials may be in print or digital format made by RATI, gawa ng RATI po, and used in the lesson delivery that highlights teaching strategies to develop critical, creative thinking, and other higher order thinking skills. Ano po ba yung mga supplementary materials? Pwedeng activity sheet, pwedeng one lesson from the self-learning module, pwedeng lesson plan, pwede ring video lesson, pwedeng audio lesson, and any other learning materials. You just need to have annotation para po ma-explain. Yun po yung purpose talaga na natin, no? And for teachers using highly proficient tool, ang objective po natin ay to develop and apply effective teaching strategies to promote critical and creative thinking as well as higher order thinking skills. Ano po ba yung MOV natin, Sir Kaloy? Ito po yung MOV natin. Any supplementary materials in print or digital format made by RATIs and used in the lesson delivery that highlights effective use of strategies to promote critical thinking, critical creative thinking, and as well as higher order thinking skills, and PMCF to show proof na talagang kino-coach at mini-mentor natin yung kasama natin. The same po, activity sheet, one lesson from a self-learning module, a lesson plan, and a video lesson, an audio lesson, and any other resources na talagang alam naman natin na ginamit natin to showcase objective number 3. And next objective number 4 na classroom observable na hindi nangangailangan ng COT ay ito po. Establish a learning-centered culture by using teaching strategies that respond to their linguistics, cultural, socio-economic, and religious backgrounds. So sir, ano po yung MOV natin for teachers using proficient tools? Same po nung sa taas, pero you just have to ensure na itong mga activity sheets, itong lesson plan, itong one lesson from a self-learning module, video lesson, audio lesson, and any other learning materials ay talagang nagpapakita na na-show natin, na-showcase natin si objective number 4. And then for highly proficient naman, exhibited a learning-centered culture that promotes success by using effective teaching strategies that respond to their linguistic, cultural, socio-economic, and religious background. So same pa din, supplementary materials and PMCF as proof na talagang na-mentor at na-coach natin si teacher basing doon sa mga supplementary materials such as activity sheet, one SLM lesson, lesson plan, video lesson, audio lesson, and any other learning materials. Just provide an annotation. And another classroom observable objective na hindi nangangailangan ng COT ay ang objective number 6. Ang objective number 6 po ay use strategies for providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to improve learner performance. So magpo-provide tayo ng feedback. So ano po yung evidence if I am a teacher using a proficient tool? Ito po yung evidence natin. First is evidence that highlight providing accurate and constructive feedback to improve learner performance, and that shows timeliness of feedback given to any of the following. Take 2. Babasahin ko ulit. Baka maging non-reader ako. Evidence that highlights providing accurate and constructive feedback to promote learner performance and to show timeliness of feedback given to any of the following. So, meron po tayong nagpapakita po ng feedback po si teacher based doon sa mga nagawa ni estudyante. Example po doon na bibigyan natin ng feedback could be activity sheet, performance tasks, quizzes or tests, and self-learning module. So ito po siya, we need to show na may nag-feedback po tayo. Bakit po tayo dapat kailangan mag-feedback doon? Kasi para magbigay tayo ng signal, para mabigyan natin ng signal si estudyante or at least si parent naman or si guardian na ito yung performance ni bata. Ito yung nangyayari based doon sa mga nasubmit niya sa amin ng output. So we really need to inform them as to the status of their performance. And if you're a teacher, using highly proficient tool naman, your objective is use effective strategies for promoting timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to encourage learners to reflect on and improve their own learning. So ano po yung evidence namin, sir, dito? Ano po yung isasubmit namin na MOV if I am a master teacher? So ito po, evidence that highlights providing accurate and constructive feedback to encourage learners to reflect on and improve their practice that shows timeliness of feedback given to any of the following. So it could be activity sheet, performance task, portfolio, quiz and tests, self-learning module, and PMCF or the Performance Monitoring and Coaching Form to show a proof na kinoach natin at minentor natin yung kasama nating guro. So paano natin ginagawa yung pag-feedback? At least makita naman merong exemplar or merong example si teachers 1, 2, and 3 kung paano ba ginagawa ni master teacher yung pag-feedback sa kanyang mga bata. Kaya kailangan po na magkaroon ng PMCF as one of the attachment. Ayun. Dito naman, sa objective number 8 na classroom observable pa rin na pero hindi nangangailangan ng COT. So ano po yung objective number 8? Set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that is aligned with the learning competencies. So ano po yung MOV natin dito, Sir Kaloy? So ito po yung MOV natin. One lesson plan, maybe a DLP, a DLL, a WLP, a WHLP, WLL, lesson exemplars and likes, or one lesson from self-learning module by the ratee with achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with the learning competencies as shown in any of the following. So pwedeng mamili dito. It could be through lecture and discussion, activity or activity sheet, performance tasks, rubric of assessment, assessing performance using criteria that appropriately describe the targeted output. If I am a teacher naman using highly proficient tool, the objectives or the MOVs that I'll be submitting po ay mamimili po tayo dito. One lesson plan or one lesson from self-learning module prepared by the ratee with achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with the learning competencies as shown in any of the following. Lecture or discussion, activity sheet or activity, performance tasks, rubric for assessing performance using the criteria that appropriately describe the target output, and demonstrated in a LAC session as attested by the LAC coordinator or approving authority with proof of attendance of colleagues. So meron po tayong ganun for teachers using a highly proficient tool. Another objective naman, ito namang objective na ito ay non-classroom observable. The same po nung objective number 8, yan po ay non-classroom observable na mga objective. So objective number 9 naman ay also isang non-classroom observable objective. Meaning, ang ito pong objective number 9 po ay ang build relationship with parents, guardian, and the wider school community to facilitate involvement in the educative process. So ano po yung isasubmit natin? Ito mahaba-haba po, no? But we'll try to read it. We'll try to scan it kung ano ba yung nakasulat dito kasi parang mahaba eh. For teachers using proficient tools, ang ano po natin, ang pwedeng isubmit natin na MOVI, proof of participation in any activity for improved access to education such as but not limited to the following activities. First, distribution of learning materials to learners and parents, di ba? Parang hindi siya bago, no? Ginagawa talaga natin ito. Example dyan, receipt forms, monitoring form during the distribution of learning materials, and etc. Second option for number 1 is the Brigada Eskwela or participation to Brigada Eskwela. Example po doon ay yung mga commitment form to stakeholders, develop advocacy materials, certificate of participation that involve parents or stakeholders in engaging or signed by the school, engagement signed by the school principal. Yan naman po ay isang option. Another option in under number 1 po is home visitation. Again po, we're not saying that you go home visit, na dapat mag-home visit ka talaga. Kasi depende po yun sa community quarantine status natin. Kasi baka hindi po pwede mag face-to-face, di ba po? Pero alam naman natin, ng mga guro sa Pilipinas, meron tayong mga strategy dyan. So if ever na possible say home visitation, if ever po na ginawa natin ito, pwede din natin siyang i-post doon sa under number 1 po as proof na meron tayong participation doon. Home visitation form and etc. And other things that we do that we involve parents and stakeholders po. Number 2 po, na second option din po or second dito sa list of MOV for teacher using proficient tools ay yung parent-teacher log or proof of other stakeholders meeting, maybe one-on-one parent-teacher learner conference, log or attendance sheet with minutes of online or face-to-face meeting, proof of involvement in the learners or parents orientation. So sinabi nyo dito sir na merong face-to-face meeting. So meaning po ba sir sinasabi nyo mag face-to-face meeting? Nilagay po namin ito kasi baka lang po by assumption baka magka-okay na yung setting natin after March or after June, baka maging okay na at magkaroon ng face-to-face. So pag meron pong ganun, at least we can use that as evidence dito po sa objective na ito. So at least po 'di ba, parang ways forward thinking po tayo na if it is possible then do it. At least pwede natin siya magamit as MOV para sa objective number 9. The third po is any form of communication to parents and stakeholders. Example, notice of meeting, screenshot of chat or text messages or communication with parents, guardians and other through digital or print copy of learners enrollment survey form signed by the ICT coordinator and focal person or the school head. So alam po natin na yung communication po natin ngayon, meron po nag-GC, meron tayong group chat, meron po through text. So yun po, pwede nating screenshot yun at pwede nating gawing evidence for objective number 9. As long as there is an engagement that we promote involvement of parents, stakeholders, and at wider school community to participate in the educative process of our learners. For teachers using highly proficient naman po, yung guided colleagues to strengthen the relationship with parents, guardian, and wider school community to maximize the involvement in the educative process. So if I am a teacher using highly proficient tool, ito po yung list of MOVs na pwede nating pagpilian. First, school letter approved by the school or department or grade level head. Example po nito ay communication with the barangay to use the government vehicle to transport module. So if ever na meron kayong ganyan po na ginagawa as master teacher, pwede mo nang magamit yan as MOV. Pwede naman po si approve action plan or project proposal, activity proposal, which involve stakeholders. Pangatlo naman po sa menu or sa option natin, dito sa highly proficient naman po as MOV is the accomplishment or narrative report of the approved activity. Yun po ay pwede nating i-attach dito sa objective number 9. Ito po ang mga MOVs na nagpapakita na merong involvement si stakeholders or si parents or si guardian doon sa pag-facilitate ng educative process natin this time of pandemic. Ayan. Nandun naman, punta naman tayo sa objective number 10. Itong objective number 10 naman po, ako'y medyo hiningal na. Itong objective number 10 naman po ay isang non-classroom observable indicator. Ito po, for proficient po, participated in professional networks to share knowledge and to enhance practice. So yun naman po talaga yung target natin. We participate in trainings, we participate in webinars, of course, to improve our practice and also to share our knowledge to others. So ano po yung MOV for teachers using proficient tool? Certificate of Completion in Courses or Trainings. O diba, dapat completed natin yun. Certificate of Participation in Webinars, Retooling, Upskilling, and other training seminars write-up with proof of implementation. Talagang i-implement natin yung nalaman natin or yung nakuha natin from the training. Next po is Certificate of Recognition as Speaker in the Webinar, Retooling, Upskilling, and other training or seminar workshop. Another is any proof of participation to benchmarking activity if this is possible, and any proof of participation in school learning action sessions online or face-to-face. Meaning, isi-certify lang po ng LAC coordinator po natin. So yun po, no? So basically, parang lahat ng teacher hindi mahirapan sa indicator na ito. Kasi sa LDM pa lang, we're doing already this, di ba? At meron na tayong mga completion if ever. And also, any other activities that we do, just write an annotation para po makita natin kung paano natin in-exhibit si objective number 10. For those teachers who are using highly proficient tools naman, ang objective nila contributed actively to professional networks within and between schools to improve knowledge and to enhance practice. As highly proficient or teachers using highly proficient po, ito po yung pwedeng pagpilian natin na MOV. Approve activity or project proposal for the webinar, retooling, upskilling, and other training seminar write-ups with accomplishment report. Of course. Next is approve activity or project proposal for benchmarking or innovation with accomplishment report. Number 3, certificate as contributor to LRMDS. So basically, no, as master teacher, we really need to engage in the production of instructional materials. And if you do that, if you're doing that already, then you can use that here. So you just need to have a certificate as contributor. Another one is certificate of completion in a course or training. Next is certificate of recognition, speakership in a webinar, retooling, upskilling, and the other training seminars and workshop. Next is any proof of participation in school learning action session, maybe online or face-to-face, basta make sure it is being certified by the LAC coordinator. And any other activities na ginawa po natin na nagpapakita na talagang na-perform natin, na-exhibit natin si objective number 10. Just write an annotation po. Now, let's go to the last objective. Last objective po sa priority indicators other than the plus factor. Ito namang objective number 11 ay non-classroom observable objective pa din. Ayun. So ano po yung sinabi dito? If I am a teacher using proficient tool, ano po yung objective ko, sir? Ito po yung objective natin. Develop a personal improvement plan based on reflection of one's practice and ongoing professional learning. So ayun, sir, paano ko mapapakita? Yes, sir. Anong MOV? So ito po yung MOV for teacher using highly proficient tool. Ang main MOV po natin ay ang Individual Performance Commitment Form Development Plan. Meaning ang DP, ang IDP po natin. Yun po yung main MOV. Dapat meron po siya dyan. Sir, kasi main MOV yan, meron yung supporting MOV. Yes, meron yung supporting MOV. Ang supporting MOV ng ating IPCRF DP ay ang any documents that would show that is aligned with our development plan, such as reflection of one's practice using LAC sessions with proof of attendance. Ayun, may reflection tayo. Simple reflection na natutunan mo or may nabago ka or may natutunan ka, na-learn ka out from that session, tapos binago mo yung practice mo. You can write that. In our, di ba, meron tayong LAC notebook. Another thing is reflection or personal notes on the coaching and mentoring and or mid-year review. Di ba? We do the mid-year review. So ano yung natutunan mo? Ano yung reflection mo that help you develop your your development plan or yung mga weaknesses natin or yung strength natin that made us improve our priority development po doon sa DP natin. So pwede nating isulat yun through reflection or personal notes. Next po is personal notes journal on the division or school-led inset with proof of attendance. Another is certificate of enrollment or registration form or class card in graduate or postgraduate school or online courses. So kung nag-aral ka at tapos nakitang may improvement naman, align naman yung pinag-aralan natin doon sa ating development needs, then you can use that as one of the MOVs. Next po is any learning materials highlighting improvement done based on the accomplished reflection section. Diba? Sa ating lesson plan po, meron tayong reflection doon. So based doon sa reflection natin, i-highlight lang po na merong nabago doon sa ating DP, merong nabago sa ating practice being a teacher that is aligned with our development plan. So pwede po natin gamitin yan as MOV. And any other materials that would show na talagang si objective number 11 ay nagawa natin. If you're a teacher naman using highly proficient tool, ang objective po natin ay initiated professional reflection and promote learning opportunities with colleagues to improve practice. Ang ganda po talaga ng objective. Ang objective 11 po talaga ay na-amaze ako kasi parang it advocates sa talagang sa school talaga magtutulungan tayo. So if I am a teacher, if I am a master teacher following highly proficient tool, ano po yung MOVs natin? So ito po yung main MOV natin. Synthesis of the individual performance and commitment form development plan, or meaning our IPCRF DP of colleagues, meaning synthesize po natin. And this shall be supported by any of these evidences or documents po, any documents aligned with the IDP or the IPCRF DP. Synthesis such as certificate of recognition as resource speaker during training or training committee chairperson, training matrix of LAC session highlighting teacher's role, minutes of LAC session highlighting teacher's role. Another po is sample personal notes or reflection of colleagues on regional, division, school-led, inset, and or other training supervised and conducted by teacher. Next is summary of evaluation, quality assurance report of the conducted regional, division, school-led, inset, and or other trainings, and any other documents na nagpapakita na talagang na-exhibit natin si objective number 11. Just show or just write an annotation. And last but not the least, yung plus factor. Sir, may plus factor? Yes, may plus factor pa rin. Kasi we want to put credit doon sa ginagawa ni teacher outside her duty. Yung mga ginagawa ni teacher that is parang way beyond na sa expectation natin being teachers. So, in the Department of Education po, we are promoting teachers who do extra miles, di ba? Kaya meron tayong plus factor. So, the same lang, si proficient and highly proficient, the same lang yung plus factor nila. Perform various related activities or work that contribute to the teaching learning process. So, ano po yung pwedeng MOV natin dito, sir? Ang pwedeng gawin nating MOV dito ay ang committee involvement, pwede namang advisorship of co-curricular activities, pwede ding involvement as module or learning material writer, pwede ding involvement as module or learning material evaluator or validator, participation in the RO or SDO or school-initiated TV or radio-based instruction. Next ay book or journal of authorship or being a contributor of that book. Next is coordinatorship or chairpersonship. Next is coaching and mentoring to learners in competition. Sabi mo, may competition pa ba ngayon? Yes po, meron po tayong mga online na competition. If ever po na meron kayong online competition and you happen to be the coach, pwede po nating ilagay yan dito. Sir, should I be a winner or not? Hindi po. As long as nag-coach ka, then it can be given to you po. Basta meron lang po tayong certificate. But of course, we encourage you na talagang manalo tayo sa mga competition. Naman po, para makapag-prepare, ma-prepare naman natin yung mga bata natin before the competition. Next, mentorship to pre-service teachers. Kung ikaw ay magbe-mentor doon sa mga pre-service teachers, pwede din po yun. Sir, meron bang internship ngayon? Depende po sa division nyo or depende naman sa mga higher institution, higher education institutions natin sa ating mga kanya-kanyang mga lugar. So if ever na merong ganito, then we can credit that under plus factor. Next po, participation in demonstration teaching. Participation as research presenter to a forum or conference. And any other things that shows na you have done extra mile. So pwede natin gamitin yan sa plus factor. Just prepare an annotation. If ever naman po you're a highly proficient or a teacher or a master teacher using highly proficient tool, ito naman po yung pwede nating pagpiliang mga MOV. Proof that a teacher has served as OIC in the absence of the principal. So kung naging OIC ka, pwede mong i-credit yan. Next, represented the principal in the meeting or conference. Ayun. Next is observe teaching performance of teachers 1, 2, and 3. Assisted the school selection committee in the evaluation of credentials when hiring or promoting teachers. Serve in the committee. Served as advisor to co-curricular activities. Serve as coordinator or chairperson. Authored or contributed to a book or journal. Meron po, participated in RO, SDO, or school-initiated TV or radio-based instruction. Serve as module or learning material writer. Serve as module or learning material validator. Coach or mentored learners in competition. Mentored pre-service or in-service teachers. And also, meron po tayong mga iba dyan. Kung hindi man natin na-mention and you still have that MOV, just write an annotation that would show na talagang napakita natin si plus factor objective number 12. So, ayun. So, yun po yung mga indicators na susundan natin for this school year 2020-2021 and also their corresponding MOVs.